And now, a conversation piece. This is The Rundown. Welcome everybody to another exciting episode here at The Rundown. Yes, we're back folks with another installment, and it's been a while. Let's get it started. Let's start talking about nerdy things. And this time I wanted to talk about one of the recent Blu-ray acquisitions. I actually got this when it came out, so it's not recent. It's been a while, folks. But I haven't uploaded a video in a while, and I just said, you know what? Let's talk about it because it's cool. Of course, you've already seen the title in the description below. Justice League: Gods and Monsters. I'm so happy to see Bruce Timm back, doing what he does best. I will talk about everything that happens in this movie. So if you've not seen it, go watch it because it's just amazing, and this might stir some controversy. I think it's one of the best DC animated movies of all time, if not easily top 3. And yes, Justice League: Gods and Monsters. First and foremost, I am a huge fan of alternate realities, Elseworld titles, parallelism, parallel Earths, whatever. And this movie is just that. It's basically, what if the DC Trinity, basically, and they call it the Justice League, but let's be honest, it's just the 3 of them, the big guns, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. What if they were raised completely different on another alternate Earth, and this is what we get. In this alternate universe, Superman, who goes by Hernan Guerra, he is the son of General Zod by some hijinks that ensue. And he is raised by Mexicans trying to cross the border into the United States. It couldn't be more appropriate if you're gonna go with the whole alien route and all that stuff. Nowadays, that's like one of the hot topics that I'm not gonna get into because I don't want y'all to hate me for something. We're just talking about some nerdy things and a really cool movie. But I just love the fact that it's really contemporary in a good way. And I was not, of course it's a little weird, but more so that he's General Zod's son, more than the whole Mexican thing. Because, hey, we got a Mexican Superman now in this movie. Batman, of course, Bruce Wayne as we know it does not exist. It is Kirk, or maybe he does exist, but doesn't become Batman. This Batman is Kirk Langstrom, which is a weird choice at first, but I thought it was genius. I loved it. And Wonder Woman, I think she is the most far out there alternate version. So now she's a new god. Perfect. One of the first things I want to criticize about this movie, I was really hoping the Machinima shorts were going to be included in the Blu-ray, which seemed like a obvious thing to do. We've seen those shorts. They are a I guess pseudo prequel to this movie. They basically show you, like, I think they were like 2 or 3 minutes long, with them dealing with stuff in this alternate Earth. And it's a little bummer that they're not included. You see Batman taking down Harley Quinn. You see Wonder Woman fighting, I think it was Giganta, with Steve Trevor, who shows up in this as well. He's in the military as usual. And Superman, I think he was dealing with Brainiac, and completely new take on Brainiac. Now, here's the main problem though. If we're talking alternate realities and the New Gods, which are present in this movie, I don't know if you guys have read a lot of comic books, but the whole concept of the New Gods, at least to my understanding, is basically they are this omnipotent force of being that transcends all multiverse, all Earths or whatever, and it's just one new god. It's not like multiple takes on him. So I think it really disrupts the flow when Becca, she is part of the New Gods, so she's leaving that area of the universe and joining this Earth, while the New Gods are doing some crazy shit. Because let's face it, I think it's like the first time they've shown something like that in animation form, what they're going through. Highfather betraying the marriage that was supposed to go on. Becca was supposed to marry Orion. That didn't go as planned. And there's a lot of stabbity stab, and I'm guessing their New Gods are gonna survive, but it looks like movie-wise they didn't. I don't know. I think that's a little weird to my taste because I'm used to them just being this larger than life. They keep rejuvenizing. They keep reincarnating, I guess, because they're always there. They're the new gods, and of course facing off against Darkseid and Apocalypse, all that stuff. So, but that's not the issue. We only need to know this because of what she is. The main focus of the movie takes place on Earth, obviously. We do get to see characters like Lex Luthor and all the great scientists in this new Earth of ours, the movie. And I gotta be honest, you're calling it Justice League Gods and Monsters. I was expecting somebody like Aquaman to show up, or Green Lantern, or whatever. But I do know there are tie-in comic books. I've not read them. I don't know. I haven't picked them up. But in this movie, you just get the Trinity. I love the idea that there's this enemy that's taking everybody out from within, and you don't know who it is. You later find out who he is, but that's part of the fun. That's part of the mystery of figuring out what the hell's going on, because all these great scientists are getting killed off. Characters like Ray Palmer, Silas Stone, Tio Morrow, all that stuff. And once you learn that it is Magnus, it's a little weird because you get to see him from the start of the movie when all the flashbacks with Batman, that great sequence. I love that sequence of Kirk in college and trying to cure disease or whatever it was he was doing. So I thought that was pretty cool. The whole love triangle thing, I don't know if I cared that much about it. The whole point of the movie was solving the mystery, and of course that whole interesting dilemma between Lex Luthor and Superman. It transcends whatever Earth you're visiting or comic book you're reading or whatever. It's a rivalry that stands the test of time. Superman has this huge mystery of where the hell he's coming from, who he is, what he is, all that stuff. I thought it was pretty cool that Superman did not know his origin story as well as he thought, because he sort of knew what the hell was going on, but obviously the government and Lex Luthor knew more in depth. And the whole thing with General Zod, that basically sure, is he really Zod's son? Sure, he looks like him and he has the DNA imprint, but the baby was already born. I mean, unless it doesn't matter if you're born, just as long as somebody puts in that DNA thing and you get that imprint in or whatever. It's a very strange birthing process in that version of Krypton. Other than that, I thought it was solid. I missed the Bruce Timm style of animated movies, especially with the art. The voice pool in this was just fantastic. Everybody was just spot on as the characters. And really, one of the main points, one of the selling points to me, is that it is an original story. And why did I mention at the beginning of the show, of the episode, why I think this movie can very well be one of, if not the best animated DC movie. Why is that? Simply because it's not tied to any source material. Take a look at everything that's come before, from that awful Superman Doomsday movie to that awesome Wonder Woman story that was loosely based on some stories of her 80s run and 90s stuff from George Perez. And the list keeps going. More and more as you get closer to today, you see that the movies have been lacking because they're adapting a story, and it's super hard to adapt an animated a comic book story in a 70-minute story. I've always criticized DC animated movies for their running time. This one is no exception. 76 minutes. I think it should have been a little bit longer. I would like them to at least reach an hour and a half. I know it's super expensive compared to a theatrical release or a regular movie, but I think you can do it. You're already doing 76 minutes. That's more than an hour. You can push a little bit more. Plus, if you've included the prequel stuff into the whole movie, I think you would have stretched it out a little bit more, in my opinion. And just because it's not adapting an original story, I think that's the main selling point. because you're free to do whatever the hell you want with this. You're free to explore all these characters in new, different ways, and you're gonna please everybody. Because right up front, you know it's an alternate take. You have your expectations lowered, I guess, should be the word I'm looking for. It should be lowered because you already know it's not based on something you know. So get ready to watch something new. Son of the Batman, Batman versus Robin. You've seen it with Justice League Doom. Yes, they are fun movies, but they are really inferior works compared to their comic book counterparts, because you cannot adapt such a deep, or I shouldn't say deep, because you're all going to be like, they were not that deep to begin with, but you know what I mean. You're adapting something that the original source material was really deep and complex, made of multiple chapters, and you had time to develop them in comic book form. Here you just got like 5 minutes to set up a scene and go with it. Let's get to the action, bam bam, and it's over. So I think this, in that regard, this movie, Justice League Gods and Monsters, is one of the best animated movies, at least DC-wise, of all time. If there's something I should criticize about this movie, is the last part, the resolution of Gods and Monsters. Magnus is doing this elaborate plan to beat up the Earth, and I don't know, because he is not a regular supervillain. I think it deters a little bit from your conventional superhero movie, animated movie. We're so used to them, having this big bad at the end and just punching it out. There's a huge epic fight. You saw that with like Justice League War with Darkseid, the Throne of Atlantis with Orm and the Atlanteans and all that stuff. But this one is a very subdued movie in that it's a different kind of threat. It's a threat from within. Like I said, it's from the hero community. You don't see any supervillains in this, because, well, you would say, it is Magnus. He is the supervillain in this. But just the fact that it's a countermeasure set up to eliminate the Trinity and framing the Justice League for murdering everybody. And it's just, I think, like one of the main themes, at least in my opinion, is the whole thing with paranoia and people of higher power. How do you judge them? I go back to stuff like Watchmen. Who watches the Watchmen? Stuff like that. I think that's one of the takeaways from this movie. And obviously seeing your favorite superheroes reimagined in a completely different way. Justice League Gods and Monsters. Should you pick it up? If you like good movies, then heck yeah, you should pick it up. It's a fantastic movie. I got the Blu-ray version. I usually don't pick up digital stuff because I like to have the physical media in my hands because I'm a collector. Pick it up. Here's the Blu-ray and the DVD. And special feature-wise, of course, DC has a lot of cool stuff in their features, mini documentaries and sneak peeks. I can't wait for the new one because we're finally going to see Batwoman in animation form. But yet again, it's adapting like different storylines and creating some new stuff. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was great. I think, as I said, to recap, it's one of the best movies to me just because the story's really intriguing. It's a murder mystery. You're trying to figure out who did it. You're seeing an alternate take on these characters, and it's an original story. Bruce Timm excels in original stories. That's why we liked the Justice League, the Batman, all the DC animated universe stuff, the TV universe. We liked it so much because it adapted the best things from the comics, but they were original storylines. And I think that's part of the appeal, that's part of the charm of this movie. And if you've not watched it, and honestly it's been a month since it's been released, you definitely should watch it. I highly recommend it. So everybody, thank you for watching another Rundown episode. I promise more episodes are coming soon after this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. As always, you can follow us on social media from your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Tumblr, Vine, wherever you want to look. I'll be there with you guys so we can keep the conversation going, right? And of course on Periscope. Follow me on Periscope. If you don't have the app for Android or iPhone, just go to periscope.tv/aweekingeekdom and you can watch my streams there when I go live. I usually do about 2 or 3 per week at random times, so it's probably best if you download the app. And you can watch me live stream just anything in particular, like haul videos, just random shit that I buy, whatever, talking about geeky stuff. I like to draw on Periscope, that's fun. So thank you. Join us and join in on the fun. Thank you guys for watching. I will see all of you later, and God bless. Thank you so much for tuning in to another exciting episode here at The Rundown, part of a week in geekdom. Thank you for tuning in to another installment. You can keep the conversation going through your favorite social media platform. You can like and subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, like our fan page on Facebook, and favorite our pics on Instagram. You can also write to us for feedback, suggestions, and such via aweekingeekdom@gmail.com. Until next time,